Welcome to the Wednesday night Cycling Canada race series. You're riding along with Abe Outsworn, riding in B group, and the race is off. Hammer, hammer, hammer to get to the front of the group. So, what is the Wednesday night Cycling Canada race series? It's a great way to keep all the virtual cyclists across Canada together, racing and engaged over the winter. So, shout out to Cycling Canada for putting these on and giving us an opportunity to keep riding with our peers, have some fun, some competition. They are keeping it relatively low key in that there's no points tallied from week to week or anything like that, but of course there's Zwift Power that we'll all be checking religiously to see how we're doing. So this is the first race of the winter season, and as I mentioned, I ride B group. For some context, my FTP is 265, weight is 71. So I'll do a little bit of math here. So that's 3.7 watts per kilo. So I fall right in the middle of the B group, having dropped down a little bit from a bit of weight gain, a little bit of no high-end efforts, and a bike or a trainer calibration. So between all of those, I had been poking into the bottom end of the A group last year, but I'm back into the middle of the B, and always just looking for probably about the second pack of B group is how things have been going for me so far this season. I'm trying to adjust my watch there because that's how I do my heart rate, and my heart rate was jumping all over for a little bit. So what am I going for with this race? Honestly, first I was just hoping to kind of stay to the front end of B, but you'll see in a little bit we actually catch up with A. So they started, looks like about 30 seconds ahead of us, but we had a much larger group in B, and as you know in Zwift, the groups will go fast based on size, and so we end up, we see A up ahead there, we catch them. It's going to mix up the race quite a bit. It's going to make it hard for the Bs because there are two short climbs in this race. And that will definitely split the group, having the A's climbing hard. The best of the Bs will be able to roll with them. And that'll put folks like myself back in a second or a third pack. So I didn't have any big ambitions for this race or anything, just happy to be back racing in bigger events. We still have our Southwest Ontario Zwift race, or SWOZR, SWOZR, that has Monday night races, and those have been fun. Had some good results on that, and good sense that I've got some fitness coming into this. Not top fitness, but also not going to be the back of the bunch. So, just going to have fun and push myself hard and see how it goes. One of the things I'm doing this season that I'm not going to change at all is last year in the winter races, I was guilty of sacrificing the running for the sake of the riding. So I would know that a big Zwift race was coming up, so I would skip my runs so I'd be fresh. This year I am not skipping any runs. I am going to make sure that I get all my running in, which means I'm not going to be top of my game for the rides, but that is what it is. And just here to have fun, not trying to win B races or anything like that. So you can see with this whole AB mix here, we're clipping along really good. 47, 48 kilometers an hour on the flats. And not a huge effort to hang in. Definitely kind of at FTP, which is not terrible for a shorter race. So feeling good, but I know that the small KOM is coming up, and that 100% that's gonna mix things up big time. In terms of bike selection, what did I do coming into this? I believe I went light bike. So I mean, I've got the Tron bike, I've got the S-Works with the disc wheel if I want really aerodynamic stuff. But for my experience in Zwift races is that you're always going to be split up at the climbs. That's where all the makes and breaks happen. And so I prioritize always, if there's any climbing in a race, I'm going to prioritize lightness. Oh, I hear there's a little splits happening with the gravel. You'll see I use the view change to get a sense of where I am. If there's a big group just behind me that will carry me back into something. So that's I race on the PC, so that's the 8 key for that overhead view, or a 6 key to look backwards, just to make sure that that I'm not missing any moves, or I'm not wasting energy if a move's going to carry me back anyway. So that's the other challenge with riding with EA groups, is you'll get more attempts to split on really moderate, so very low climbs, or like this gravel where there's a lower rolling or a higher rolling resistance, or even just shallow climbs. Like there's that 1% that's coming up here in a little bit, and you'll see the A's just go all out on any little thing that could cause a split. Which is, yeah, I mean, my heart rate got up to 184, I think, in that little bit of gravel there. So my heart rate max is probably about 192 these days. And so, yeah, 184, I'm not not a very happy camper rolling through at that. So, anyways, chose a light bike so that hopefully I could minimize the losses on the climbs. And yeah, I'll try to be with a group that's going to at least carry me through as well as possible here. What's the cost? Well, you'll see I'm always in a pack in this ride. Some of the smaller packs, sure, I probably could have benefited from a bit more aero. But really, I think it's still the right choice for me, or for anyone who finds that you're not making that first split on a climb, is prioritize bike lightness for the races. And unless it's a really small race, like it's a 10-12 person race, and it's going to be much more time in the wind, then you may want to think about the aerodynamic bike, or an in-betweener like the Tron bike. So we are coming onto that 1% drag here. So I am just kind of poking to the front to make sure, because I do have a sense that someone's going to try to take advantage of this long, steady, slight elevation, and I don't want to find myself too far back too quickly. But you can see heart rate's already quite high, and that's just hanging in. So we're doing 300 watts here just to roll with the group. Which is, yeah, it's pretty rough for us mid-pack B folk. Oh, I should mention too, the kit that I'm wearing, there's a reason for that kit. And so it's the bicycling kit. You'll see a couple other bicycle kits around me. And that's the kit we use for our SWAs, or Southwest Ontario Zwift Race groups. And it's because it looks the most like the London Centennial Wheelers, or LCW kit. The real life version of that, which is who runs our Tuesday night races in London for the Crit series in real life, when we have real life racing. So you'll see other Southwest Ontario or London folks rolling around in those yellow bicycling jerseys. So survive that push. And now already, just right off the back of that, you can see I'm not even recovered. Heart rate's still high 170s. We're coming up to the climb already, 180. Look at that. I'm hitting a climb at basically 95% heart rate. So I know going right into this, I'm not gonna hold the lead group. That's apparent. You know, I need the heart rate at 160 hitting the start of the climb if I'm gonna have any breathing room to push a little bit deeper. So then what's gonna happen on a climb where you're not going to be in the front group? Well, you just still want to set your best tempo to find the best compatriots. So, you know, obviously you don't want to go right out the back. And so you're planning to end up with some folks who are going to be a nice match for you. There goes Chris Paulette rolling by in his bicycling kit on his way up to the front pack. Or actually, I think maybe there was a smaller in between pack mixed of A's and B's that Chris might be in. He could fill me in on that. But there it goes. Like you can see, I'm not catching that. Heart rate's 185. And there's a gap already, a couple second gap, doing 305 watts. So just basically try not to worry. At this point, it is what it is, and do try to hold a wheel, because you do still. I mean, even though we're going up a climb here, we're still doing 30 plus kilometers an hour. So draft has significant impact. So sometimes it's just a matter of taking a couple breaths, letting that group go, and then grabbing onto the next wheels that come by. That's what I do. And I do end up with some good folks to ride with. And then that's the other key thing you want to really, oh, thanks for the ride on there from Amy White. That's really what you have to end up with, though, is you got to be in a group of some kind when you hit the peak, because on the downhill, that group draft effect is so important to carry you quick down the hill that you can't be on your own coming over the top, because you will not catch the group ahead, and whoever's behind, if they have a group of even 4 people, 5 people, will catch a solo rider down a hill. So basically at this point, I've decided that these are the wheels I'm going to hold. And I don't have to be the first one in this group over the hill, but I do need to be with these folks when I get to that point. So it is you see me in the corner there. It's a bit of a sweaty, drooly mess by the end of this climb. You know, I was it's my first time using the picture-in-picture with myself in the frame there, and I did throw on a shirt because the chest hair situation is something else right now with COVID going on. Not sure everyone felt like seeing that. But I was way too hot. I was just sweating. So I think we're gonna have to live with bibs only for the remainder of the season. My apologies in advance. I do like, but I'm in basically it's sort of like a walk-in closet of my bedroom. I just speed things up here because now I'm with this group. We just roll for a while. But I'm in a walk-in closet of the bedroom, and I do have a window wide open with a fan in the window, but it just still does not keep the temperature that I'd prefer for a racing temperature. So after that first major climb, there's really not a lot to be done in this event. Until the next climb. I slowed it down here because I like this. Jeremy Hopwood notices that he's in the YouTube group, so I'd set on the start line, put out a message that I was going to be recording this and putting it on YouTube, which of course in a lot of ways only really matters to the people that you're going to be ending up around. So he's just commenting on the fact that he's going to be in the video, and indeed he is. Yeah, so temperature wise, it was too hot. Um, that will get better as the winter goes on, and having an open window will be more effective than it was through our little bit of a nice heat wave over the past little while. Yeah, you could hear us going over the stones there. I've got the background music on a bit. Um, yeah, so really, like I said, at this point, it's just a matter of hanging with the group and just rolling through the kilometers, kilometer after kilometer. You know, you do your little turns on the front. You watch for any splits. You make sure that you're drinking lots of water, if you remember. There's some guys pushing here, like the gravel, as a potential split. But you know, at this point in time, we have really, those climbs do kind of sort you in a way with folks who are the same kind of power as you. And so there's not a huge likelihood someone's just going to go away on the flats. Uh, and so we have another climb coming up. And at this point, really, it's just about conserving. Um, you may have some people coming up behind you, and as a group, you may decide you don't want that group behind to catch. Um, but we caught a couple people, and then we just rolled steady into this climb. So I've put it on just slightly fast forward for this second climb. But this is now kind of the make or break, which is like, okay, I've set myself into a group. This is the group I'm rolling with. And now I'm going to do absolutely everything in my ability to ensure that this is the group I finish with. And so that's the goal here, is like keep the wheels as close to the front of the group. Now, there were some real big efforts coming off of this. And that's where I got to make that decision, which is, okay, is this enough that they're going to stay away? What do I have? So I'm at 185 heart rate. I don't have a lot more. On the other hand, there's a numbers game. So if we can get over the top with a larger group than that bit that gets away, then we will roll them back. So at this point, basically that's my hope, because I couldn't quite kind of stay on the front wheels. So sure enough, we get a group of 5 here, and I keep them motivated, roll through to make sure that everyone is pushing. And sure enough, we get a fairly sizable mini pack here, which is all we need to catch these couple guys off the front, especially with this long downhill drag. And you can see we're coming back to these guys. Yeah, so in a lot of ways, it's just that number game, right? As you go the climbs, you want to end up in the biggest pack that's furthest forward. And then you just do what you can and what your body will let you do. And you try not to drool on your keyboard of your PC. So basically, yeah, these guys are caught. You always get that one or two riders who, when you're almost caught a group, decide that they're going to like bridge that group, which unfortunately sometimes it can mess up your group. So ideally, no one tries to bridge, and they just have the patience to catch the group in front altogether. Which, yeah, after a little bit of mess, we do all end up back together. And so now it's really time to start thinking about the end of the race here. We got under 5K to go. This will be our sprint pack. At least this is my thought. Now you'll see Ben does a sneaky little move here in a second to try to mess that up. But you know, with 5K to go, with a small group, you're just thinking, okay, I gotta recover and I gotta get ready to sprint these guys. And we'll be fighting for whatever position, 30th or something, I think is the top position from this group overall. But then you never know what you're going to actually place in B. because you don't know how many Bs are up the road with that A group. And then also when it comes to Swift Power, you don't know how many people have DQ'd themselves by going over category. Which, for folks who are chasing the A group, that's a real risk, is that if you are that strong, that you will do the 4.1 watts per kilogram to roll with that group. And then sun move up, my friends. In a second here, I think it was about, 2K to go. So now I've put us back in real time so you can see what Ben does. It's a brilliant attack. He waits till the bridge where there is extra rolling resistance. He throws down a feather, which he's not going to need for the end sprint anyway. And he just takes off like a rocket. So now we've got some real thinking to do with this group. And Jeremy commented online his thought, which is the standard position. A single rider with 3K to go is not going to stay away from a group of 10 or 12 or however we have. Once everyone hammers for the sprint, the speeds just get so high that ride is going to be caught. Now that is kind of the perspective that I would normally hold. But Ben there has beat me in every single bike race we have ever been in together. And he also time trials like an absolute master. So I was nervous on this one. He was carrying enough of a gap, and he's so strong that I actually wasn't convinced we were going to bring him back. I had actually essentially given up on him and thought, you know what, we'll just sprint our own sprint, and he's taken that 30th spot. In the end, that's not how it played out, but I actually had full confidence in him staying away. But it's also a good lesson for me, because every now and then I do think of jumping away. And if the guy that's stronger than me can't do it, then maybe it isn't the best approach to take. So as we get close to 1K to go, my thought is basically skating wheels in the front of the group. So to be prepared for the sprint, you need to be sprinting from about the top 5 if you're going to have any chance of winning your group. And so to be sprinting from the top 5, you really need to push yourself constantly up. Of course, you don't want to be leading out the group, but you don't want to let yourself drift to like 10th, 12th position, because by the time you move up the wheels, the sprint's done. So that's what I'm doing here, is I'm just trying to roll in like 2nd, 3rd position. It's a cost to the hurry. You'll see 184, so I'm already close to max there. But I am giving my best chance to be starting the sprint. And you see Ben's still quite a ways up in front. So I'm waiting till about 400 to go to use my Aero Boost, and then put it up 500 plus watts. And I'll go around at the front at about 100. It was a bit long. I was 180 to go there. I should have waited till about 120 to go. Because you'll see here, I'm doing 680, 690, 750 watts, and 3 guys still rolled me right at the finish. So pretty good in terms of my sprints, which is not my strength. I was happy to be, I guess, 4th out of my group there. Should have played it a little smarter, waited another 40 meters, and I could have probably won that group, because you saw I went off the front. But great race overall.